Good night, St. Martin, and welcome to your favorite online internet program, www.sxmtalk.com. Of course, I'm your host, Christopher Emmanuel, and I want to thank you for joining me here on the program tonight. Call a friend, call someone, tell them to log on tonight, tell them log on now, because your favorite program is on. And trust me, tonight is going to be a very interesting and hot program because I'm a bit upset. I'm a bit pissed off with some of the things I see is happening in society, and some of the things I start to put numbers to a lot of the things that are going on, and I realize that we are sort of insane in this country. And it is scary because when you do the calculations, when you look at what is going on, you realize that we are setting up the next generation for failure. We are setting up our future for death. What am I talking about? I wonder if you guys have really set back or took a moment to analyze what's happening on St. Martin. Really look at what is going on in St. Martin. And I want to put some numbers. I want to put some numbers to a lot of the projects and a lot of the things that they're talking about. And then I'm looking at the budget that we have. You know, the CFT is telling us to cut 25 million guilders from the budget. We need to cut 25 million guilders from the budget because the figures are not realistic in terms of where the money is coming from. But I leave that up to the minister. I leave it up to the minister to decide how they're going to deal with that issue. The issue that I want to deal with is the kind of money that we are spending in this country and worrying of how the next generation is going to deal with paying that debt. Let's take the causeway, for example. We are talking about a project that is costing government, people would say, oh, well, government don't want to pay it, it's a harbor who doing it. Nonetheless, we still got to figure out if it's a government-owned company or not, you know, but container fees gone up. Gas price gone up by 2% to pay for it. So we are talking about 50 million. Talking about 50 million for a causeway. We are talking about 100 million. 100 million. Right? For Justice Park. We are talking about 17 million for Emilio Wilson to purchase it. We are talking about another 10 to 15 million for the new government building. And God knows the millions we are talking about for the ring road. We are talking another couple of millions again if the minister's project have to be realized for the hotels and then the owning your own carrier, etc., etc., etc. If our budget every year is 400 and let me say about 70 million guilders, right? Guilders. How much is that in dollars? We are talking about roughly over $200 million and change. We are talking about. But we have a project for 50 million. We have another project for 100 million. We have another government building for about 10 to 15 million. And let me put a ring road at another 5 to 10 million. All right? And government is also talking about owning their own airline. And we know that's going to be another 100 million. Where are we getting this money from? Where is it coming from? I'm trying to do the calculations and figure it out. Okay? We have done $250 million already gone over our budget if we got to calculate these sort of things. Who is going to pay for it? The next generation is going to pay for it. There's no breathing space. I was looking at it over the weekend, speaking to some friends, and we're trying to do the calculation and see, but something definitely seems to be wrong. Something seems to be wrong in terms of the numbers. Because at the end of the day, we are looking at a 16 square mile island. And this is one of the reasons why I can't agree with the Justice Minister and his Justice Park. I absolutely can't agree with $100 million for a justice park, to build shooting range, to build juvenile detention center, to build another prison, to build. And I'm saying to myself, why are we building more prisons? The only reason why you build more prisons is to lock up more people. What about prevention? How much money is going into prevention? How much money is going into training? How much money is going into upgrading? How much money is going into job opportunity? How much money is going into job security? How much money is going into poverty alleviation to prevent our young people from going into the prison and criminal system? That is my question to the Justice Minister and this government. How much money are we spending on the youth, on the generation now, to secure them, to equip them, to arm them with opportunities, that we don't have to have a justice park and more detention centers and more criminal gangs? How much money are we spending in prevention? And that's the problem I have with the Justice Minister. In addition to that, I don't agree with his numbers. But we are spending $100 million for a justice park that he is saying, oh, residence permit, director's license is going to pay for it. We are talking about the excess of 20,000 more people that is needed to pay for this. Where are we going to put them? Housing, school, roads, medical, insurance. Where are they going to go, Justice Minister? Where are you putting them? Where? And the thing is, if it's fail, who's going to pay for it? Because it's going to fail, because your numbers don't add up. It's going to fail, and I don't even know how to talk, because it's like you're oblivious. You're living in a country and you can't get answers, and there's nowhere you can go, or no one you can go to get answers, to explain you how it's going to work. What we need from the minister is to come and explain in detail. And I'm pointing to the members of parliament to ask those type of questions. This watered down wish-wash questions you're asking the minister, it doesn't jive. It doesn't do nothing for me. It doesn't explain anything to me. $100 million for a justice park, $50 million for a causeway, 10 to 15 million for a new government building, another 10 to 15 million for a ring road, 17 million for Emilio Wilson. My God. Government probably have a fountain of trees that is producing money, because how? I'm trying to figure out the numbers. How? 16 square mile, 100,000 people, 60% of the population is making 2,000 guilders and less. And look at that, 60%, 20% sends money away. So by virtue of that is 40%. 60% of companies don't pay taxes. Where is the money coming from? How are we going to live? What kind of country are we building? We are building a country that is growing on debt. I'm not an economist, but I'm looking at the situation and I'm trying to get answers, people. I need someone to explain it. You know what? Please. I believe we could have the number up on the screen. Let me ask my engineer to put a number up on the screen. Right? Please. Someone with an economic, financial background, please take my number, 523-7348. Drop me an email, sxmtalk@hotmail.com. Please come on the program with your knowledge, with your expertise. Please, I am begging you to come and explain. Someone who has who can put numbers together, who can calculate numbers and explain how it's going to work, where government is getting the money from, where we're going to get new taxes from. My boy Emilio Calmera, if you're listening to me, please join us here on the program. Bring some other friends, some economist or someone who knows about these sort of things, because I simply ain't seen it. Where are we going to get money from to continue running this country with these sort of projects that government is talking about, these multi-million-dollar projects? Where is the money going to come from? Who are you going to tax? Is tax going to go up? You know, all those things we got to start to ask the question, because when we look at these things, Prime Minister, what's up with the government building? You say it's being fixed. It's being fixed at the tune of how much money? How much money? I want to see a breakdown of all the buildings that government is renting. How much money does government spend annually on rent? How much money does government spend annually on motor vehicle? How much money does government spend annually on insurance of these vehicles? How much money? How much money are we going to save by moving into the government building? I think it's a far crime that this building have stood still there so long, and no one has been brought to justice for it. No one has been brought accountable to it. And we are spending this sort of money. No wonder the old age pension can't be gone. And I believe it gone up a couple of days or weeks ago by what? Huh? We need a pension of old age to start at $1,000. 1,800 guilders, flat. Flat, that's where it's starting from. Every pensioner goes home with 1,800 guilders. It doesn't drop no lower than that after taxes come out after this. No, we starting you with 1,800 guilders. Regardless of whether your taxes are out or anything, 1,800 guilders. You can't have pensioners and the elderly going with 700 and 600 and 800 guilders. It does not work in this society. It cannot work. This government doesn't have no compassion for the elderly, for pensioners. It is sad and it is shameful, okay, to see that we have a company like Telem could spend or give $200,000 to Carnival, $20,000 to Carnival, but can't sponsor Dr. Martin Luther King School, can't sponsor local schools to help them with certain things. I tell you, we are upside down in this country. We are upside down in this country. And then you know what? You know what? We're going to get a bunch of bubblehead people throwing themselves on a list talking about the youth and I care and I and for the people, and country. And then we as a population, we as a voting generation, we as the electorate, come 2014, all of us we're going to turn like zombies. Tio, Tio's the man. Tio, love this country. Tio, good for this. All of a sudden, we gone crazy. Let me tell you something. Tio is not good for St. Martin. But what he does very well is pay you. Pay you whatever you want. And then after those years, he don't owe you nothing. So for 4 years, don't look for him. Don't ask him nothing. This guy is relentless. He's shrewd. Okay? And he's nasty. Because they believe that St. Martin belongs to them. But I tired of talking about him. I'm waiting for his I'm waiting for his boy to come on Wednesday if he's so coming. And trust me, I got to log on Wednesday. It's going to be a bacchanal in here. It's going to be rumble in the jungle because I'm pulling out, I ain't holding back nothing. I'm pulling out all the stops for Maurice Lake. All the stops are pulling out for him. I ain't going easy. And I dare any and everyone to come on this program and let us talk the truth. Let us speak the truth. You bring your questions and I got mine too. All right? People, wake up. Please. Wake up. St. Martin needs you. St. Martin is crying for you. St. Martin is asking for you to help it change the direction that this country is going. Get rid of these individuals who don't care about you. I'm saying it here, and I'm saying it again. One of my things that I'm championing is $1,000, because it just doesn't seem, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for pension for our elderly to be lower than $1,000. It doesn't make sense. Even the minimum wage doesn't make sense. I'm going to come here now. I'm going to lay out my programs, and I'm going to lay it out now. No more fuel clause. Minimum wage, $1,000. Pension, $1,000. 6 months and short-term contract, no more. If those things are not eradicated, okay, within government, the new government to come, then everyone should resign, including myself. Should resign, because you're just there for yourself and don't care about the people. We cannot live in a country like this. We cannot live in a country like this. People may say, Christopher, you're starting too early. No, I'm not starting too early. It is time for us to wake up. And I'm going to start hammering on us also as a people. We need to get out of this nasty, greedy, begging ways. Huh? Don't come with your GB bill. As a matter of fact, don't bring them to me. I ain't paying nobody GB bills. Why? Because I don't have no money to pay bills for no one. I don't have the money. I don't want money from nobody. Okay? You elect people so they can be in a position to help you that you can pay your GB bills. And I'm saying it. Read my lips. No more fuel clause. No more fuel clause. 1,000 guilders. Sorry, $1,000. 1,800 guilders. Pension for the elderly. 1,800 guilders. Minimum wage. Eradication, no more of the short-term 6-hour contract. It shall not exist anymore. It is time for us to change the way of thinking. Head into a different direction. We cannot continue like this, people. You're going to continue bawling. You're going to continue begging. Let us change St. Martin. Take care of yourself, St. Martin. God bless each and every one of you guys. That's it for me tonight. Goodbye.
There was a time when people dare not utter a word. There was a time when people were in the dark and searching for accurate information. Just when all hope is lost and frustration hangs in the balance, XSM Talk emerges and broke the silence. Join host Christopher Emmanuel for live and serious discussions and hard talk.